The name Devon means defender and may refer to the Celtic inhabitants who fought the Anglo-Saxon invaders in the Dark Ages. Although I'm not a part of the Celtic inhabitants that fought from invaders, I do consider myself to be a defender in other ways. The name may also refer to the Irish spelling of Devon and the Gaelic meaning of poet. I'm also not a poet, but I find this interesting because I heavily enjoy music and even write some songs of my own. Based on this information, I'm sure you can tell that I'm going to tell a little bit about myself. First, I'm going to tell you about my interests and hobbies. Then, I'm going to tell you about some qualities, things that I like and dislike by myself. Then, I'm going to tell you about my future goals. Next, I'm going to tell you about my best friend and what I think qualifies as a best friend. And lastly, I'm going to tell you two additional things about myself. When I'm sitting in my room, essentially doing nothing because I'm too lazy to do anything else, during this time I heavily enjoy listening to music. I enjoy all types of music, but I mainly listen to rap. I also enjoy writing some songs in my free time, but I'm not very good at this. One thing I wish I could learn to do is write songs that are good enough that I can be proud of, but I'm not invested enough to spend the time to do so. Another hobby I have is going outside and playing basketball or football or really any sports with my friends. It's nice to get some physical activity, and it's even better to be with your friends so you can have some fun and talk some trash. Another hobby I have is playing video games, but I spend the least amount of time doing this due to the fact I am not good at video games. Even though I'm not good at them, it is fun to be in a PlayStation party playing video games and having some fun, essentially doing nothing. Everybody has qualities that they like and dislike about themselves, whether it's the way they look, their attitude, or something small like the way their voice sounds. My personal favorite quality is, to a certain extent, I do not care what people think about me. Unless you are someone that I respect or someone I'm very close with, I couldn't care less what you would think about me, and I recently found this is very important and makes life way easier. Another quality that I have is when I put my mind to something, I get it done. To a certain extent, I feel like I have a very good work ethic. I received this award during this 2019 basketball season. It basically means that the coaches voted and they think that I was the hardest worker and I improved the most. That means a lot to me because I do think that I'm a hard worker, and it's nice to get awarded for that. Although some of the times I'm very good at motivating myself, other times I am not, and I have a hard time putting my mind to something. I'm very good at procrastinating, and sometimes I just do not feel like doing anything, and this is something I really do not like about myself. And if I find 100% motivation in the things that I do, I feel like I'd be a way better person. My goals are simple: get out of the habit of procrastination and to become the best at whatever I end up doing, whether that's being a physical trainer, um, being 100 feet up in the air, fixing roller coasters or cell towers, or making hundreds of $1,000s being a engineering. These are my long-term goals. My short-term goals consist of being considered the hardest worker in football and basketball, making being good enough at making music that I can be proud of it, and but in order to do all these, I must first learn how to be motivated, and this is my most important goal. To me, a best friend, to me, the qualities of a best friend are someone that you can count on, someone that you have fun being around, and someone you have a lot of memories with. Paul Jones is someone that I've known ever since the first grade. When I moved here from Jerseyville, I did not know anybody and I was terrible at making friends, but that did not matter to Paul because he's the most outgoing person I met. We instantly became friends and we've been friends ever since. For for the longest time, whenever I was in elementary school, I didn't. My only friend was Paul, and I found myself just about every weekend going over to his house and playing zombies or just messing around outside. Every friend that I met was through Paul until I started playing sports, and I can feel like I can call him and everyone in his and everyone he lives with family. Two additional things I'd like to share you with is I work at Walmart and I've almost been in two car crashes. I've been working at Walmart for about 2 months and I have no complaints, or little, I have very little complaints. For the most part, everyone that I encounter are very nice people, but there are some people that make you think that they have never learned common courtesy when they were young. Everyone I work with is very easy to work with and they're very nice, and it's very nice to have a way of making money. I have had my license for about 2, 3 months now, and I've already almost been in two car crashes. One when I was behind the wheel, and the other one I was in the passenger seat of my own car. The first one, it was late outside, and I was very frustrated. Due to this, I was speeding, probably going around 90 miles per hour, and I was coming up across the turn, and I was too frustrated, and it was too late for me to even realize that was a turn coming up. So whenever I was coming up close to it, I slammed on the brakes and swerved to my left. And as I was doing this, a car was coming straight towards me. And if the car was not paying attention, I would have gotten a collision and very likely would have been injured. The other crash was when I was in the passenger seat. My friend wanted to take my car out to a place where it's very curvy roads and loose gravel so we can take my car out drifting. We were drifting for about 15 minutes until he came across the turn too fast and lost control. There was a very steep drop off, and if we would not regain control and hit a tree to miss the drop off, we would have fell very far and probably rolled the car, hitting rocks and trees and other things, and everyone would have been heavily injured and maybe someone would have even died. We were very lucky that we hit the tree instead of falling off, and I do not think anyone noticed this. Today you have learned about my interests and hobbies, some qualities that I like and dislike, my future goals, and my best friend and what I think qualifies as a best friend, and even two additional things about myself. Keep in mind that there's way more to me than I can mention in this speech, and thank you for listening.